This is my first time face-to-face with you. Shoshana interviewed you at the beginning, way back when, before you had your baby.
Yes.
And it didn't record.
Which baby? For which baby? I have 2 babies.
Oh. Well, we just started this
Probably
year, so
probably after the first baby, before the second baby.
Yeah. We
Probably.
started a few months ago, I think.
So that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You look really good.
Thank you. I have to find a comfortable place if there's no window in my face. Hold on. Here we go. Perfect. It's still sunny here because we're 3 hours back. It's 6 o'clock.
Oh, so it's getting pretty dark out, but so let's do an intro. And I'm sure everyone knows who you are, so we don't really have to, go too far into your profile. But yeah, so everyone, welcome tonight, Mental Health Monday. We are doing a spotlight of people who are doing great things in the world, trying to bring awareness to some resources that that help break the stigma. And I just wanted to tell a little story before Bari takes over. I was driving on a long road trip last week, and I'm not really a podcast kind of person. I mean, I want to be, except I need to focus. Like, I used to commute, but I don't anymore. Now I work from home, so I don't really have so much time that I'm not working. So I haven't really gotten into so many podcasts lately, but I did go on a long road trip, and I decided to give it a try, and I was like blown away. Like, I was just, I couldn't believe the inspiring people. Like, it was just like you just kind of like hit every, I don't know, like I felt like I connected personally with every single one that I listened to. I thought it was incredible.
I'm really happy. That makes me really happy to hear, honestly.
Yeah, and also, like, I guess I didn't listen to all of them. I listened probably like 4 or 5 of them. But it was like such hashkacha. The ones that I did listen to, it was like meant for me. It's like picked me up.
I'm really happy that you feel that way. I've had a few people who've messaged me after I've produced different episodes telling me that they really needed that one today, or they really needed that one right now. And I'm like, great. So that's what it was for.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It was I was so inspired. Avital Goldschmidt.
Avital Shizit Goldschmidt. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
That was like, I was blown away by hers. Cause like, I feel like I don't know, like I do a lot of writing, and I felt like she probably wrote everything that I have to write. So I don't have to write now.
She's incredible. She's absolutely incredible. I felt that way when I read Rachel Hollis's book. I'm like, what am I doing?
I know. So,
thankfully I started before I read Rachel Hollis's book, so I don't feel like I did it because Rachel Hollis did. Don't get me wrong. I'm obsessed with her, and like, she's goals. And my podcast this week is we discuss with the guest how much we have a joint love for Rachel Hollis. So like, whatever. But at least I thought of the idea before I read the book.
I see Rachel Tuffman just joined. I'm quite obsessed with her. She's my...
her episode is so important.
I know. And she's like, I'm not just obsessed with her because she's a therapist. I'm obsessed with her because she's like one of my longest standing friends in the entire world. And
she has to be fantastic. I was on the phone with her earlier because I love her.
Yeah, I love her too. Everybody, if you're not following Rachel Tuffman, you really should.
And if you haven't listened to her podcast episode and you never want to listen to a podcast episode ever again, just listen to this one. Listen to Rachel's. It's very important.
Mm-hmm. It is.
It's about sexual abuse and preventing your kids and your teens from sexual abuse and how to educate them from a young age. So there you go. Now you're responsible. Now you have to listen to it. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Okay, so now that I just kind of gave my own little introduction, you guys are hired, best PR. Thanks, Rach. So could you just tell us a little bit about how you started the Woman of Valor podcast? Because I know you've been doing Bariana for a while.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So how did this all begin?
So once I started being less blogger, like solely fashion blogger on my Instagram and more of like, hey, I can't do this anymore and pretend like I'm a total fashion blogger situation because I have a newborn and this is really hard. People really started flooding in being like, thank you for saying this. Some people were like, I'm sorry for being jealous of you because you seemed like you had it all together. Like, I was stupid. Like, I had her and on Wednesday and Friday, I decided to go full glam and do a photo shoot with my 6-pound newborn being like, hey guys, like I was a moron. Okay. Second time around, I learned from my mistakes. But I was back to work. I was taking her to work with me. She was 10 days old when I got my new job description. I was working full time. Like I was an idiot. It's fine. But I was working with her. She was coming with me. I was changing her on the floor of public school bathrooms. Like it was gross. It was gross. Okay. Either way, I was just like, hey, can't really handle this anymore. And then I started sharing and I spoke to my husband a little bit about it. And he was like, you know what? I think if it's for the benefit of other people and the benefit of education, I think you just start sharing more. So I did in the form of blog posts on my blog, which I'm going to get back into soon. I'll do it. I plan on doing it. But people were really resonating with that. And I spoke to one of my coworkers, somebody who also worked for the youth organization that I worked for. His name's Rabbi Jacob Rupp. He runs Lift Your Legacy podcast. And he was telling me about podcasting, and another friend of ours, his name is Saul Blankoff, he told us that I needed to be doing something with my voice, with speaking, with these things. And putting Saul's idea together with Rabbi Rupp's idea, I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's start a podcast. But I was also still like, maybe I should start a podcast. Thankfully, my husband is very into tech and knows how to do these things and spoke to Rabbi Rupp, bought me a microphone, set everything up, built me a website, and was like, you don't have a choice now. Like, you're doing it. Don't waste my website. It's a good website. So I was just like, okay, I have no excuses. And the night before I started, I remember I was so scared that it was going to be such a failure. I went on live. I started crying, like ugly crying. Like, don't do that on social media. But I couldn't control myself. And my friend Talia from Like a Boss Melech was like, let me join your live right now. She gave me a pep talk. She's like, why are you doing this? Who are you doing this for? I'm like, I'm doing it for my daughter to have inspiration. She's like, then do it. I'm like, okay. And that was the whole thing. And then I launched it and I like hid in the corner, like, and thank God, like I had more than 5 downloads. I had way more than that, but still I was like, what if nobody downloads it? And it was just really, it took off very quickly. And then with the guests that I had and the exposure that it got from my guests, it just blew up into something amazing. And like I get when I go to New York and people are like, I follow your Instagram. I'm like, okay, like, hi, nice to meet you. What's your name? But if somebody comes up to me and they go, somebody in an ice cream shop in Brooklyn was like, are you Bari Mitzmann? I'm like, yeah, hi. She's like, I recognize you from the picture on your podcast. Just want to let you know that I love what you're doing and thank you for doing it for the Jewish people. And I was just like, can I hug you? And that was like really meaningful to me because it wasn't like, oh, you post pretty pictures. It was like, I like what you're offering and I like who you are, not what you look like. We just totally like, hey, if somebody wants to give it to me as class, you can do that. But yeah, I still have more episodes to go. I have more topics I need to cover. And I like to cover things that I think are applicable. Like I wasn't in any rush to do the sexual abuse episode, but a friend of mine approached me and was like, I really need you to do this for me. She's like, I'm going to manipulate our friendship right now, and I'm going to use you, but I need you to discuss this before the summer because a family member of hers was deeply affected by sexual abuse during the summer. So I was like, we got to do this. I'm like, who am I going to do it? Rachel. Like, Rachel. Boom. We discussed it on Sunday. We recorded it on Monday. We uploaded it Tuesday night, and it came out Wednesday. Like, it was just chick-chock. We got to do this. And I actually had somebody who's in med school who told me his wife listened to it first, told him to listen to it. He said, I've listened to dozens and dozens of sessions on this. I've never heard something as coherent and thought out and covered so much. I forwarded it to all of my med school student friends. Like, this is important. So I try to have somebody, when it's a topic that I don't feel that I have enough insight on, I try to have somebody who is an expert in that field or has personal anecdotal experience in that. But when it comes to mental health and it comes to things like that, it's very important for me to have a professional because I am no professional. And I make that disclaimer a lot. Making a lot. It's not, it being on this platform, it is very dangerous because you don't know how far your impact reaches and how somebody hears something. And it's just very important for people to know that most of us are not qualified to give mental health advice. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a mental health counselor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. So I can't really give you much insight on that. I can tell you what has been my personal experience. But further than that, I can't give you any ideas.
Yeah.
Did I answer the question?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I mean, we have that all the time also. We get like tons of messages all the time about, can you recommend a therapist? So I say, you know what? I could try, but why don't you go visit OK Clarity? They probably can help you, and then, I mean, basically, I think our job, yours and ours, is to kind of raise the visibility of all these people because sometimes,
yes.
People like Rachel Herkman and Brophy Moskovitz that just joined, they have so much to offer and probably very little time to do their own marketing and, let's push people their way,
Very often being on this platform is a referral service. Like, even if somebody's like, hey, can you promote this? Honestly, I can't, but why don't you reach out to so-and-so? I think she might be a really good fit. Right. Or like, hey, do you have any recommendations for X, Y, and Z? I really don't. Or I do. Go to this person. Like, she'll know what to do. It's a lot of referrals, which is fun. And I'm happy to help. But OK Clarity is definitely one of those places. I did a campaign with them at the beginning, like to try to get more awareness of the platform that they have. And people message me, they're like, where can I discuss this in public and this, that? I'm like, oh, go to OK Clarity. Like that'll be a good place for you. But it's beautiful, the connections you're able to make here, and the ability to promote other people, other services, other products. I think it's a really beautiful opportunity, and I'm very blessed to be in that position, to share different products and services and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of what I love about this community. You know what I mean? Like, we launched our website, was it last week? And we got amazing response, and people were sending us resources, and I was so excited to be able to say, like, to point them in the right direction of, I don't know, I'm just rambling here, but it's exactly what you were saying of it's just a community. So we're not right. I don't necessarily need to be an expert in anything. I could just send people. Yeah, I
call myself a master of none, but that's not true. I actually do have a master's in education. in special education, but my certifications is in general ed. So I feel like I'm sort of using that in a form of informal education.
Mm-hmm.
And I just did an interview with somebody. I was being interviewed, which was funny. I find it very weird when I'm interviewed. And I was saying, one of the hardest things when I was becoming more observant was to stop singing in the presence of men, take upon myself the mitzvah of Kol Isha. And now, thank God, I have a means to use my voice for something else.
You have a good radio voice, by the way.
I've been told that, and it makes me so happy. Like, Salon Leia is like, you're really relaxing to listen to. I'm like, thank you. That makes me happy.
No, but I mean, you could do like commercials and stuff. Like the beginning of your podcast, it was like very cool. It like felt like it was, something.
We like to do things like we go all in the Mitzmann household. Like you do it or you don't do it. So we're like, okay, we have to have a jingle. And then I'm like, no, I want a better jingle. Let's get somebody to write copy and like do a better jingle and be like, this is what you're listening to. Welcome to Woman of Valor, like type thing. In the beginning, I was like trying to do like a riff off of like, the shows that are like the DC comic shows like Arrow and Flash. It's like, my name is Bari Mitzmann. A few years ago, and I was like, no, this is really bad. My husband's like, be less superhero, be more human being. I was like, I can't. It's too fun.
You could be a superhero, and then Rachel Moses will make you a new icon.
Oh yeah, Michelle
Moses, sorry. Michelle.
Yeah, I was like Rachel Hollis. No. Yeah, so Michelle actually's worked with my husband quite a lot. I introduced them to do work together because my husband builds websites and does like advertising and marketing and things like that. So he was like, oh, I'm looking for somebody who does specific graphic design. I'm like, oh, you should meet Michelle Moses. I'm like, she's like one of his favorite people.
But there you go.
No, sorry. We're good.
Are you there?
Yeah. Do you see me?
Yeah. It froze for seconds.
Sorry.
That's awesome. Yeah, no. So, I mean, I just know her from Instagram. She probably doesn't know who I am, but, I think
we became friends in real life. She's fantastic.
I know. That's what I also like about this. I feel like I really made you have the opportunity to kind of like, to forge relationships with people that are like-minded that you wouldn't necessarily find. Especially, I'm in a small community.
Where are you?
I'm in Hamilton, Ontario.
Oh, I know that place. Surprisingly.
Why?
Yeah, there's NCSY people in Hamilton.
There are a lot of NCSY people in Hamilton. Yeah. And Shoshana's also in Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, I know people in Memphis. Jewish geography, gotta love it. But yeah, I live in Henderson, which is like considered like the middle of nowhere. It was like the most awkward thing. Like I saw my rabbi. He's originally from Muncie, and I saw my rabbi one Saturday night. He's like, I didn't know how famous you are. I'm like, excuse me. Like so uncomfortable. He's like, yeah, I was in Muncie, and everybody asked me if like you were part of my kahila. I was like, that is so uncomfortable. Oh my God, I'm mortified.
Well, luckily, I think I'm pretty low-key in Hamilton. I don't think anyone knows that I do anything.
Oh no, here nobody really knows what I do, and all they know is that like sometimes I have closet purges where they can like buy my clothes for like $5.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, that's all I know. Like I was wearing something on Shabbos, and people were like, "Are you selling that?" I was like, "I'm literally wearing it, guys. It's not going anywhere. Like it's on my body." Like 6 people at the same time. I'm like, no, sorry.
That's funny. That's awesome. So do people in your community listen to your do they comment on your podcast like when you go to shul and?
So they don't really comment. Number one, I'm actually a hermit. So like I see my friends when I want to see my friends, and like I don't. It's also really hot these days, so it's hard to go to shul. But there are a few people that listen to it. Most people are like, I listened to one this week and I haven't listened before. I'm sorry. I'm like, you don't owe me anything. Like, You don't have to listen to it. Like, I'm not offended. Everybody has lives, and to be honest, it's very hard for me to listen to podcasts. So why should I expect you to listen to podcasts? Like, I'm not mad at you. So there are a few people that do. But my mom always gives me feedback. My mom's my cheerleader. My mom and this woman named Terry.
Terry?
I love Terry. She lives in Northern California, I believe. And I inspired her to start her blog about her journey with breast cancer. I love her. She's my biggest cheerleader, and she sends me emails after every episode. I love her.
So nice.
I love her. She's fantastic.
I know, it's really nice, these connections that you get to make with people, and they become genuine connections. They're not just superficial at a certain point. They're just, you're connecting with real people. And
people you'd never expect. Like you'd never expect.
For example. I mean, you don't have to give a name if you don't want to, but like.
Okay. So I saw the person on here for like a little bit. She and I are very different on very different levels. Like I can't go into how different we are for different reasons. But like our lifestyles, our probably political views, everything is very different. And yet we can sit down and have a cup of coffee or like have a texting conversation, or like we've referred books to each other. We like have different types of deep conversations. And like one time we were able to meet up at like coffee, and you'd be like, what's going on? Like, how are these two people together? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But like, it's a meeting of the minds and the souls. It's not a meeting of like physical appearances. And that's the blessing of living in a place where like what's on the outside really doesn't make such a difference. Mm-hmm. It's really beautiful.
I know. So I just had this conversation with one of my closest friends who lives here, but she doesn't have Instagram. So most of my friends actually don't have Instagram. So that's why
awesome.
None of them know what I like, anything about Project Proactive whatsoever. But I was just so I have like this, I feel like I have a whole separate life. And like I have my real life friends, and then I have my Instagram friends. But my Instagram friends are like I bumped into Hardcore Snacky.
Esther.
Yeah, so I bumped into her at a wedding, and I'm like, oh hey, and it's just like so funny when you see people in real life, and
yes,
and you're like,
I went to the JWE. And it was very strange. Like, I was there, and like Sarah last week grabbed my hand. She's like, Bari, so good to see you again. Like, we've met before. I'm like, no, we haven't. But like, hi, I love you. Like, okay. It was like meeting my friends in real life.
Right.
But I was like, well, we're friends, so like, it's not weird. Like when I met Swaddleby for the first time, we were on the phone every day, like for months before that. I was like, this isn't weird. Mm-hmm. We talk on the phone like every day. We text like every day.
I have that. Erica Klein. Do you see?
Yes.
She's also amazing. So one time I didn't even really know her so well, but she filled in because we had somebody who was supposed to be on Mental Health Monday live, and he had to back out at the last second. And I'm like, oh shoot, which therapist can do addictions? And I was like looking through all of her texts, and I'm like, shoot. And I couldn't find, I was like, this person, I just couldn't think of anybody. And I'm like, oh, Erica just reached out, so I'm going to message her. And she pinch hit. It was like insane. Like, she did not prepare. It was literally the last minute. And she
nailed it.
She, like, if she was that good on the fly, like, imagine how good she would be if she was prepared. But I just, I feel so connected with her. Like, we kept in touch, and, and I feel like I have the opportunity to meet so many people like that, and it's so special. And when people bash Instagram and say, and I mean, definitely have to find a balance. We kind of are always talking about, finding the balance between
totally getting sucked in and yeah.
So, but I really do think that that there's so many incredible, inspirational people there that if you kind of build your feed properly, then, and you have boundaries, you know, you're golden.
Well, I don't think my podcast would be what it is without Instagram. Had I not built a following beforehand, had I not had people who were sharing it on Instagram, posting in their stories, people who were bigger doing swipe ups, things like that, the podcast would have never become what it is. And it's like, Facebook's not really my market. I'm not good at Facebook. You send me a message on Facebook, it's likely I won't see it for a month. And I have the notifications on my phone. Like, it's that bad. Like, I'm just not a Facebook person. It doesn't work for me.
You're really good at Instagram.
It works for me. But I also have a balance with that. You know, like, if I can't do it one day, I can't and I won't, and that's fine. At the same time, I understand and appreciate that Instagram was a huge propeller for me for the podcast, and it would not be where it is right now without it. So I have a lot of gratitude for that.
For sure. I mean, that's the whole... Hold on, you're just cutting out.
I'm cutting out.
Hold on. Back? Are you there? Yeah, there.
I am.
Frozen, or are you talking now? No. Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, I think you are.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Do you see me or you don't see me? Hello.
I see you. Can someone tell?
Oh, okay. There, you're back.
ZC says we're fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so what was I just going to say? Yeah, so I mean, that's what I think that's really the key is that what I like about all of the people that are here is that everyone recognizes that we're all trying to build each other up, and you have the whole crown thing, you know, that you know, what was the post that you said about the crown?
I can't remember what I had for breakfast. Don't challenge me on if I can remember something.
Oh, okay, good, fine. So no, but I mean, just that everybody works together so nicely, and like everybody's better when they're working, you know, together and trying to build each other up rather than building themselves up. I think that's kind of how it works.
Tremendously important.
Right?
Yeah. You also never know when it's going to come back to you. Like, you can help somebody out altruistically, which is the ideal, and then, like, who knows, maybe one day, like, somebody will be able to, you know, help you back. It's not why you should do things, but I do think that if we boost each other, it comes back to you. And it's a foundational belief that you're not in control of the outcome, and God's not going to take things away from you because you decided to help. And you decided to boost somebody up or give them a compliment or do something nice or refer business to them. Like, God's not going to be like, oh, shame on you, you're going to lose money. Like, if you're going to lose money, it was going to happen anyway. Mm-hmm. It wasn't because you decided to be nice.
Right. I mean, and that's, I mean, it's so amazing. Right. Like, I mean, I just love the camaraderie. But anyways, can you, before we finish off, can you talk about some of your favorite of your podcasts? Like maybe like half a dozen of like highlights that people, and kind of maybe, I mean, I think they're all pretty mental health related, right?
Ish. They're all applicable life related. I did one recently about how to do it all with illness. So I talk about my personal means to how I deal with life, having mental and chronic illness. It was pretty personal and pretty intense. And I almost didn't post it. And I really didn't want to record, but I was just like, just do it, Bari. And it ended up helping quite a few people. I think that one was beneficial. Not necessarily one of my favorites. There are quite a few that I love. The one with Annette and Dahan talking about their marriage was fantastic. It's the first time I ever had a man on the podcast, but it was with Annette from ST's Online. They were together talking about their marriage and how they make their marriage work while being with each other 24/7. Because they work together, they Instagram together, they live together, they have kids together. Like, I don't know how somebody can do that without ripping the head off. Yeah. So I was like, can I interview you guys? Because you guys seem like unicorns. Speaking of unicorns, I love the one about my friend LR, who's now married, who we discussed how she stays happy being single.
Oh, so what's the name? What was it?
It's called Life as a Unicorn.
Life as a Unicorn, okay.
Life as a Unicorn, because people looked at her funny when she was like not miserable about not being married yet. So I was like, you're basically a unicorn because like everybody just assumes that you should be miserable. That was a good one. Gosh, there are so many. The Rachel Tuckman one is really, really important. Like really important. The one with, oh my gosh, there's so many that I love.
Oh, there was one.
Oh, Chevy Samet.
Oh, I love Chevy Samet.
Oh my God, I did one with Chevy Samet. That was hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing the whole time.
So I started listening to it, and then my kids were like, okay, no more podcasts now. And then, so I have to go back. But
I couldn't breathe during that one. It was just the funniest one I've recorded, I think. I couldn't breathe. It was so funny.
I forget her name, the redheaded doctor.
Oh, Dr. Mimi Knoll.
Yeah.
Mom guilt. That one's important.
My son is like, why are you listening to somebody talk about having babies? I'm like, well, it's not really about having babies. It's really about how you manage those babies while you're doing
and like prioritizing what works for you and owning your choices in life.
It was really good.
Yeah.
It was an interesting perspective.
Yeah, actually this Wednesday I'm having Melinda Strauss, formerly known as Kitchen Tested. She's going to be coming on to discuss the concept of a mindset shift, which is also like taking responsibility for your choices and such. Hi, Yedis. My daughter just came in.
That's cute. I don't even have a clock near me, so I don't really know how much time we have left. So,
either way, is there anything else you'd like to share, add, anything? I'm going to get out of here because the husband's giving the baby a bath.
Oh,
yeah.
No, I mean, I just think it's a really great resource and that people should really, you know, if they can do the podcast thing, it's like amazing. Like you have really incredible speakers.
Yeah, it's something that I'm definitely proud of, and it's a project that I intend to continue. And I'm, God willing, going to be having some pretty huge people on in the next few months, whose stories people are waiting to be shared. And some people who aren't as well known, who have some very important points that they need to convey to the public because of their personal stories and things like that. I don't necessarily look for a big name when I pick somebody to interview or when I put them into the roster of people that I need to get in there. It's people who I think have something to say. Chevy Samet's not like, well, now she is. Now she's a big deal. No, I'm kidding. She's a college teacher from Muncie, and now she's like Chevy Samet. But she's always Chevy Samet. She's totally underrated. My friend Ricky Zola came on to talk about infertility. Like, Ricky Zola started a very small Instagram account to talk about infertility, and now she's like, still talking about it and whatever, but I didn't discuss it with her because I'm like, oh my God, you're like that person. I actually did a live with Rachel Tuckman about it, but I was like, okay, let's do a Woman of Valor podcast. And she was like, I would be open to discussing it. She was actively going through it. Wasn't somebody who was like,
oh wow,
hey, I had infertility. Yeah. So that's the difference. She was sharing her infertility journey while she was going through it.
Wow.
So that was something that was different. Not like, but I got through it and so can you. It's like, okay, and here I am. And that's okay. But yeah, thank God. It's really something I'm proud of, that I intend to, continue and bring on more people who are going to bring on more game changers and inspiring people, because that's the goal. Sometimes it's to make you laugh. Most of the time it's to make you learn, whether you're laughing or you're serious. Because I think it's time that women come forward and address issues that are not often addressed.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's what I do.
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to see your upcoming lineup. And just so everyone knows, so what's the season look like? When does it start? When does it end? How often do you do it?
So that's a hard question. I started, we're in the middle of season 3. We're toward the end of season 3. I usually do it in episodes of 10. We're nearing the end of season 3. I would be pushing out season 2. I did every 2 weeks. Season 3, I did every week. And then now I'm doing it like every 2 weeks. It really depends on what I have the energy for and what I can do. Because I can't push myself more than possible. Like I'm in charge of watching Mel, and he's 4 months old and very needy. So sometimes I can't record. But once I take that break, I'll hopefully be able to get ahead and prepare more episodes that I'm able to knock them out like I did in season 3. What it looks like, I really don't know. That was me. That shows what I'm doing. The falling. Like, you never know.
Well, if Mel is 4 months old, that means that's how old Mental Health Monday lives are. Because you, like, literally just had him. Like,
oh, right. I was like, I don't know if I can. I'm, like, super preggo. I'm due, like, tomorrow. I remember that. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I think you had him, like, the next day. You like?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that.
Saturday night. Yep. Did I do it?
Yep, you did. You did. But we were too new. I think you were like we had Rachel Tuchman, and then I think we had you like the second week, and then
was it the 17th, the 16th or something?
Maybe, I don't know. But then I didn't know how to record it, so
you don't know how to save it. You mean
to save it? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we did it. So it was either the week I had him. Like I had Mel Monday morning, I went into labor Sunday night. So either did it that Saturday night or the week before.
Yeah, so it was probably the Monday before you had him, if you had Monday morning. But
oh yeah. It was the Monday before.
But you're like,
and then I wouldn't have been able to do it that week. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that was fun.
Wow, good time.
That was with Shoshana.
Yes, good times. I have no memory. It's what happens to my brain. I have no memory at all. But I'm sure it was great.
You don't get your brain back for a while after.
No, it's a little bit worse because of the Lyme disease. But like the memory's really bad. Like I'll walk in somewhere and I'll be like, or like I'll tell my husband like you literally just told me that. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
At least you can laugh about it.
Yeah. There's nothing to do about it. So I'm trying to learn a new language. Hopefully I'm using like Duolingo. I'm just like trying to like learn Spanish to maybe help my brain. We'll see.
Really?
Es muy bueno.
I have like, I'm really not a language person.
10 minutes a day. I'm just brushing up on my 2 years of Spanish that I had in high school.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you. I want to be able to converse with my cleaning help in her native tongue. Even though she speaks English amazing. I want to be like accommodating and be like, hey, I get you. I did something for you.
Google Translate.
Nah.
No.
I told you, we go big in this house.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they had Yiddish on there. That's a goal. But Yiddish isn't on there. I'll put in a suggestion. I want to learn Yiddish. No. Abyssal.
Abyssal.
There we go.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and
Thanks for having me.
And I really hope that everyone listens to your podcast because it's super awesome.
No judgment if you don't, but if you learn something from it, great, and that makes me happy. That's my goal.
But if you don't listen to any other one except for Rachel Tuchman's,
then it's fine.
It's fine. Everyone has to listen to that one.
People like feel bad. Like my close friends are like, I really had to listen to your podcast. You know what? I'm like, I don't care. Like, you don't need to. Like, I love you very much as a person, and I value you despite your inability to make time to listen to my podcast. It's okay.
Well, I wish I could listen to your podcast while I'm working, but then I feel like I can't concentrate on my work. So I try.
That makes sense.
I really tried.
That makes sense. I feel you.
Yeah.
I don't listen to my podcast while I work either. Well, it is work when I listen to it because it's for editing. That's my son crying. So it's good we're wrapping up.
All right.
I will see you around. Thanks, Project Proactive, for being you. It's been a pleasure. I really like what you're doing for our community, and keep at it.
Thanks.
Gotta go tend to a human. Good night.
Bye.
Oh, I'm sure I won't. Bye.